Part 2 of lesson 8.3 is writing the slope-intercept form of a line given 2 points. So for example, we're going to write the equation of a line that passes through the point -3, 1 and 2, -1, and we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. And let's just review. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So the first thing you do is find the slope. So in this case, remember, let's review. Come on now. Slope is y2 minus y1 is the change in y over x2 minus x1, the change in x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1, subtract -1, so there's my change in y, and -3, subtract 2. Remember, whoops, we're going to add the opposite here. So we get a positive 2 over -3 minus 2 is -5. So here is the slope. The second thing you do is choose one of the points. My board doesn't want to write right now. It doesn't matter which one of these points you end up choosing. I'm going to go ahead and choose the first one, -3, 1. Now remember that this is x and this, come on, is y. So that's an x. So I'm going to, the third part, I'm going to substitute in the x, the y, and the slope into y equals mx plus b, and solve for b. So I just made a little bit more room for myself here. If I use -3, 1, again, there's x and y, so y1 equals m, which I found was a -2/5, times x was -3, plus b. So when I solve this, I have 1 equals, you can put a 1 under here if you want, -2 times -3 is +6/5 plus b. And then I need to subtract the 6/5. And when I have 1 whole and I subtract 6/5, that's going to give me a -1/5 equals, oh my goodness, equals b. So I just solved for the b, and then my last step, so step 4, write the equation. With m and b. So my equation for this is going to be y equals -2/5 x minus 1/5. And that's the equation of that particular line. Let's try the one down here with the 0.65 and -9, -20. So again, if you look back at your notes, the first step is to find the slope. So I'm going to take 5, subtract -20. That's the change in y, and 6, subtract -9, that's the change in x. So again, I add the opposite in both cases here, and I end up with 25 over 15, and that simplifies to the improper fraction of 5/3. And you want to keep your slope as a fraction. You don't want to write it as a mixed number because remember, slope is rise over run. So we need a rise and a run, and you can't get that if you call this 1 2/3. So the second step is to choose one of the points. I'm going to go ahead and I'll choose the first point. I generally choose the first point unless the numbers look like a 1 and a 0 or something for the second point. So I have y, which is 5, equals m times x, which is 6, plus b. So I can go ahead and put a 1 under here. Don't forget, with fractions you can cross cancel. 3 goes into 3 once, and it goes into 6 twice. So this ends up giving me 5 equals 10 plus b. Subtract the 10, and I get a negative 5 equals b. So now I have my m and my b. I can write the equation y equals m 5/3 x plus b, which is negative 5. Generally, you're going to see it written as y equals 5/3 x. Instead of plus the negative 5, you'll just see minus 5. Alright, so lesson 8.3 part 2 is right here. It's page 353 to 354, problems 10 to 12, 22 to 29, 33, and 34.